Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing something related to government. All right. No fewer, according to this report, no fewer than 18 outgoing state governors will retire into the lives of luxury with generous pension benefits despite mounting debts and unpaid salaries, workers' salary in their individual states. According to Punch investigations, it showed that many of these governors, that according to the data from the Debt Management Office, debt figure of these states include 2.7 trillion naira domestic loans and $1.7 billion foreign borrowings. Many of these states are in debt. As money you say that everybody owes, government owes, all governments across the world owes. However, Nigerians are more concerned not just so much about the debt, but the fact that workers have been unpaid, yet their governors are retiring to jumbo pensions. What are your thoughts on this? We've discussed it before, but we'd like to hear Nigerians' views on it because these governors, hey, they're good. But those of us that have not been paid in various states are complaining. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. So as I said earlier, you know, many states owing, we've been told several times that owing is not the problem, that you can, as long as you can service your debt. So states will service their debts. But when you don't pay workers' salary, however, the House of Assemblies have had a law where you go home as a living governor, as a living governor, you have lovely jumbo pension that sorts you for life. How do we retrace our steps to ensure that we don't leave people even poorer when you are living as governors? So, you mentioned earlier that according to the Debt Management Office, the debt figure of the states include 2.27 trillion domestic loans, 1.71 billion foreign borrowing, which tells me that the governors were not even able to generate funds to run their states. They were basically waiting on the federal allocation. The federal government will borrow, they themselves will borrow as a state with the jurisdiction to do so, to be able to pay salaries. Now, if you are someone who is considerate of the office that you have ever held, you will not be thinking of jumbo salaries. So if we have an understanding of what they are going to be getting, it may help us, you know, break it down. So I'm trying to I'll get that. Yes. While you're getting that data, some of the let me just address the idea of taking loans and the challenges of living debt. We have an expectation of our leaders, and I think that we don't say it enough. If you are going to aspire for leadership in Nigeria, you're aspiring for a leadership of a country that is challenged. The expectation is not for you to live there rich or live there hoping you'll be sorted for life. The expectation is that you live there better. And if you ask citizens, they are the ones, the citizens of each state will be the ones to be able to tell you if they feel better about their state after they've experienced 4 years or 8 years of a particular governor. And in some cases, they'll tell you, no, it's worse off. And some vote out in 4 years, the administration they felt did not serve them. I think that when we have this, when we say it as it is, we're able to better address the situation. Borrowing money is never the problem. I am pitching tomorrow to borrow money because I need money to grow my business. But if I'm borrowing money, it is not a free fund. It is not money for me to play around with, or as I've been given that responsibility, I must be judicious in how I manage the money. And all our leaders must take responsibility of how they manage the resources given to them, whether it is internally generated or it is a borrowed money. Even the responsibility is higher when you are borrowing the money, because you are putting your states in debt, and yet you are not ensuring that what you have spent that money on is on ground. That's the real problem. That we borrow money for projects and there is no project to show for it. Right. That's it. Yeah, that's the problem. Let me quickly read out a few of the things. It said the law guiding pension rights for former governors and deputy governors also states that they will get well-equipped offices after they have left. A governor who successfully completes his term without impeachment will be entitled to a monthly pension equivalent to the current salary of the current governor. So each state will be paying, let's take for instance, Lagos has done 5 or 3 governors. Each state is going to be paying every month 3 governors, and 1 person is sitting and 1 person is working. They're paying for, yes, and 3 other ones have gone. That's 4 from the coffers of the money we say is not enough for us. 2 brand new vehicles
to be provided by the state government to be replaced after every 4 years. That's for somebody that has stopped working, they're still changing cars. 6-bedroom, fully furnished house. 2 personal assistants, not below grade level 10. 2 drivers selected by the governor to be paid by the state. A fully furnished office in any location of choice. Fully paid medical treatment within Nigeria and abroad. If this is not clear wickedness, I don't know what is. You have finished your tenure. You're done with the job. You should be paid like a civil servant. The way they wait for their pensions every month, they can put you in the highest level because you served in the highest office. You get paid so that the people who are borrowing money to run the state will focus on what they need to pay for to be able to run the state. So aside from the fact that they are not generating revenue, they are still, you are added, the extra burden is added to what is weighing down the little resources that they have and all the money that they're going to be borrowing. Please, we need to do something about this.
Case dismissed. Just do something about it, really. I guess this is a point where Nigerians need to speak up because we constantly lament and we just need to ask for, we want it to be done differently. So we'll go through the process and make sure that constitutionally this is changed in such a way that it even looks, so that it's just decent. We're happy you served us, you did your job, we will give you what is needed, given the resources that we have, but do not impoverish us even further because you have served us and you go away. So we have constantly talked about the pension, how it looks, but I just want us, I'm just tired of lamenting. We've discussed this so many times, we've said it, but what can we do as Nigerians? What should we start doing as Nigerians so that the next administration puts it down, constitutionally? And then when we're talking another 4 years, we will be celebrating the fact that we have changed that.
So that's really the work for the House of Assembly. And that's why people don't like the rubber stamp House of Assemblies, where it's just whatever the all party vote agreed with you just continue it like that. But it's important for me to state the states that will be the governors that will be getting this lovely package that BC just mentioned. So Governor of Rivers State, Delta State, Akwa Ibom State, Kano, Zamfara, the guy that they said that they're taking the furniture. They are also, remember, they are paying for furniture in your office. They're now taking the old furniture that you used to use again. We have to find out why he's taking that. Then Benade of Cross River State, we have the Abia State, Ebonyi State, quite a number of them. And then we still have quite all of them. Otom, Benue.
Yeah.
So these guys are also going to be getting this largest pension.
It's sad because it does not matter how well you did or how poorly you did. You will still be rewarded. It's not merit-based.
It's just position-based.
So what we're saying...
I have gotten to this place, I will get this. It's not that there's a merit... And even becoming a governor is not really a merit-based thing. It's about your ability to convince people per time. But here is another thing I think we should make constitutional. I know some states, we've discussed it a few times, that if you are serving after being a governor in any other capacity within the country, that means you're earning salary maybe as a minister or as a senator or wherever you are serving, you are not allowed to still collect your entitlement as the governor because it is still the federal, it's still the country's resources and it's still the people paying you twice. So if we can make that constitutional, because what we see is a retirement benefit from the state and then everybody goes into Senate. We have how many 7 governors that are former governors that are now in the Senate, and they shouldn't be entitled to get a new car because the federal government is still buying them a new car as senators. These are ways for us to manage our expenses. Then we can then talk about the fact that the House of Assembly were also trying to fight for themselves to get something after they finish service, and they'll feel like if the governors are only doing 8 terms, some of us in the House of Assembly have done 12 years. Making the laws. Why are we not getting something as well? Because we have a fundamental problem as a country where we see Nigeria as a cake for everybody to share. So that is the real fundamental problem.
So there are conversations like states that are generating funds, that are actually making money and they're not owing salaries. Some will say, those ones, I'm paying my salaries, my workers are not having issues. We can choose to have a jumbo pension for our law, passing governors and lawmakers.
Do they have debts?
So no, debt, as I said, everybody has a debt. Everybody, companies, biggest companies in the world, biggest countries in the world will continue to have debt. As long as you're servicing your debt, most of these countries and states are servicing their debt. It's when you're not servicing your debt, like Nigeria is having trouble generating revenue. It's when you're not properly servicing your debt, you have a problem. But once you are religiously servicing your debt, debt is going to be everlasting. Everyone's going to have debt.
Yeah.
So the truth is that states are arguing and having that debate that, listen, should we have those states who are generating to have their law as they choose? And how do we even influence them? Is it from the top? Because House of Assembly is different from the National Assembly. If the National Assembly says, you know what, no jumbo salaries for all our lawmakers, hopefully that will influence the House of Assembly lawmakers.
It has to be something that is basic, that cuts across the whole country, right? And then I guess to some extent, states would now have to come up with policies that would reflect their own, you know, their own states, the funds that they have, their own realities. Thank you. So we have some states that are rich in some resources, and because of that, those states will definitely get more. And if you're a governor or if you serve their state in some capacity, it should reflect, and that should be like the perks of working for a state like that. If you're serving a state that they're struggling, things are hard, there's hardly water, they have drought, it should reflect. Sure. You are serving the people. You will not come and then have much more than the state has, acquire much more than the state can even give you. If you have a problem with that, you cannot sit down in one state and be pointing to Rivers State and saying, but the governor is going away with this, going away with that. When he was governor, or all the governors before that, the work that they put in to make sure that their state is rich, to make sure that their state is generating revenue, paying workers, doing all those things, you cannot compare yourself with them. But I feel that there should be something that's basic that you get, but that one should also reflect the realities of Nigeria. We cannot have billionaires from just being a governor. Meanwhile, the real billionaires are working hard, not sleeping, and then you, just because you have gotten into office, you sign some papers, and then you're a billionaire. It's so unfair and so wrong.
Alhaji Subran, I come to UBC. Alhaji Subran, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Thank you. Yes, straight to the point. You see, this issue, there's no two ways about it. It is like mortgaging the state. It's like mortgaging the state. You understand? You see, look, compare the length of time the governor served. Their period of service for the state is 4 years. You now see a civil servant that has served for 35 years, having difficulty to collect his pension. You see, it's a problem, and that is what we continue to say. Democracy, the way we run democracy in this country, is too atrocious. It is not only the governor. The same thing with the National Assembly. If you see the salary compared with international world, Nigeria is spending too much on democracy. And look at the governor you talk about. Is this same governor when the governor of the state, they'll be taking security allowance up to a lot of millions. You understand? That one is there. You understand? So, you see, and when you look at it, most of them from leaving the governor, they migrate to the Senate. Then who's going to bail us out? They will not even bring the law that will eradicate that, because they are the people, they are the composition of ex-governors in the House, in the Senate, in the House of Assembly. So it's a.
Thank you, Alhaji Subran. That's a vicious circle. So thank you.
I personally don't believe in jumbo salaries, jumbo pensions for serving for just 4 years or 8 years. I think it's wasteful. I think it's inconsiderate to the nation you find yourself. There's nothing wrong in saving up that money and lending to other states and other nations. There's nothing wrong in that. We don't have to share all our profits because the state is now making revenue, and then we are putting people who just served for 4 years and 8 years on for the rest of their life. They are sorted. We can work on those profits. We can become something from having enough in our reserves. There's nothing wrong in that. We can become a very wealthy state with enough, what do you call it, resources, human capital, enough, what's this naira now, dollars. Enough, we can. Any state who is doing so much can have enough. That's what they call a time for boom and plenty, where you save. If those of you people that read your Bible, you see how Joseph did it when he went to Egypt. There was a time of plenty. And what did he do? Was he now dashing people and saying, okay, because you have served me, or you carry all the grain in this storehouse and make it your family property? No, he was storing it up, because the way life is, times will, go up. There are always ups and downs, right? There are always seasons. If you have enough reserve and something hits, see how COVID-19 happened and a lot of people were displaced from their job. That is the time a state is stepping in to help their citizens to become, so that they relieve them of all of that. We don't have that plan. The way I see how we operate, and this is not just government, the typical Nigerian likes to eat with two hands. We don't know how to plan for the future. And I know that people would say, live like you are going to die tomorrow, but plan like you are going to live the next 100 years. Right. We should be looking at that. Right. So that jumbo salaries or whatever they call it, that they are going to be pensions, that they don't need it. And that's why I say everyone who wants to be a leader should be a professional. You should have your handwork. When you are done with service, you go back to your handwork. If I choose to become a commissioner now or a governor tomorrow, when I'm done, I go back to either TV or I go back to being a life coach. No, they will not go. You don't start. I will establish. I would have established a company.
Let me take Kelechi, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let me briefly chip in as to what BC said. You see, this thing she said was very, very correct on other views of your lady. See, this thing can be a very simple thing. Hello? Can you hear me?
The volume is low. Maybe it's not from you, from our studio, but go ahead.
Okay. What I'm saying is this thing, your lady, it seems you're not here.
We can hear you.
We can hear you, but it's a little low. Maybe our studio guys can help us increase the volume.
Okay. What I'm saying is very simple. You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. The views of your ladies are good. And those things, such an act of these things can be achievable in a system, in a country where the system works. I remember that he said something. He said, I can get these things done because I work in a United States where the system works. That's why some people are that's why some people are calling for sovereign national conference where we can discuss Nigeria.
We've done this already now, cycles.
They don't implement.
Thank you, Kelechi.
There's something that Mariam said that I feel like, it's very important. And I'll just rephrase it this way. We state reflective pay.
Yeah.
And situational reflective pay. So maybe at some point in time, your state could afford to pay you pension. But if your state is borrowing money to pay basic salary and they cannot afford to meet the bills within the state, then there must be an adjustment. Not that we'll now say we are owing the governor's salary for the past 3 years because the state was impoverished, so we'll not still pay it in future. No, it is based on what the economy is now. Right. So that adjustable rates should also affect what is being paid. Exactly. Not that is static.
So focus on the economic realities
on ground. And I think that I had a conversation even with my staff on Monday, and I said, if you do a complete week and you are holding a business line and you did not close any sale, so what is the use of that week? What's the use of the week? So you must challenge yourself, like, how am I contributing? If I have been a governor for 4 years and what I'm living is debt, how have you contributed? So we must keep on challenging ourselves and asking that question. And I'm praying for our new governors to do better.
From Ikeja, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning. On this jumbo salary, or what is it? I take it as a subsidy. Yes. That needs to go.
Yes.
Because we are subsidizing life of people that are living the future. Yeah. So it must go, or it should be reduced. Because it doesn't make sense if the state needs money and then we are doing this huge jumbo salary. No. It should go. It's part of the subsidy that must go. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me come to Mariam for a second, because there's something I don't want to forget. Companies, when they make surplus revenue, some of them review their salaries, even for their owners. They get, what's that thing they called, where you get bonus. Thank you. You get bonuses because you are making money. And the more money you're making, you're able to pay more bonuses. But once your bonuses, once the revenue is reducing, you adjust. So that's what we're saying, that in certain states, if you're like, I'm making money, I can actually afford it, but if we look at the economic realities and say, okay, this time around, we're not making as much money, how do we ensure that review is done?
And it's not that you're now making bonuses now as a state government, and then the only people that will enjoy it, or you're making money and the only people that will enjoy the bonus are the leaders. That means everyone in the state will get something, and whatever is left, you get out of it. The problem with us is just that we're greedy. And we're greedy in such a way that we have to be the only ones that even enjoy or benefit from the largesse that comes in. So we may even have periods where, you know, the state has put some policies on the ground. We've done this, we've tightened our belt for 4 years or for 8 years. 16 years later, the state is doing well. They can afford to increase salaries, but we don't increase those salaries. We don't put them more towards education or towards our health. We're thinking of the big man or the big woman that, you know, needs even a bigger house or needs even more cars. That's the problem. We need to look at this country like, you know, like a home for every governor. Like, this is my home with the people in this home also need to enjoy from it. Their success should be my success. Leaders should be able to base, you know, their achievements on how they have truly impacted the lives of the citizens, not just their pockets and their families' pockets.
Let me just quickly mention something our guest on Monday spoke about, that even if they cut the salary, the real corruption isn't, the real money Nigeria is losing is not in the salary we're paying our politicians, but in the kickback that has become a culture within our environment. So,
an overinflated contract.
Overinflated contracts based on the fact that people want to get kickback. So if those are the areas we need to deal with. If a governor knows that I'm judiciously spending this money, I want to help my people, but you realize it's not trickling down, then you will start following the money so that you will know who is sabotaging your wonderful.
I have to wrap up because we have 30 seconds left. But let me end with this tweet. Says that jumbo salary packages for ex-governors is wrong totally. Civil servants that served 35 years got nothing except permanent salary. So according to him, because of that, 35 years of service compared to 8 years is totally unfair.
That's why they're killing ourselves to be politicians.
We're queuing to collect money. It's not like after the 35 years, the money will just be coming. We queue. Some people have died.
Yes, waiting.
Get their pensions.
Me, I was even thinking,
let's be human.
See these governors that get 2 houses, 3 houses, cars and everything. Let's decide, you will get this money, but we'll build a factory for you. And you will employ people. And this would be a money-generating thing that we're doing, but not that we're giving you house
ideas. I like it. We have to run. That is all.
Not for them to manage. We'll manage.
That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.